Good evening, guys. Next week starts the playoffs for volleyball, and it's been a pretty intense season. Much tougher on our athletes since they had to wear a mask, but they pushed through it and were able to play the sport that they love, and there was no difference with the matchup tonight. Senior night here in Marquette for Celinda Brunswick, Elise Heidi, Taylor Rungset, and Ashley Bloom as Redettes host Calumet. We're going to be in the first set, and we're tied at 1. Calumet's Helen Brering with a tap over the net gets her team the point. Very next sequence. And Skylar Huruska, well, she's going to try her signature spike, but it won't work. Ella DeJerf is going to go ahead and respond with a hit of her own that got Calumet the point. Copper Kings led 19-16, but Redettes, they love to be dramatic, I'm telling you. Huruska, bang! Redettes, they cut the lead now to 6. Later, 15-20 Calumet trying to build on their lead, but Maria Mulatto, number 6, said she had enough of this. I ain't going to say the word. You know what I was going to say. Marquette's point. Moving on, Marquette down a point, 20-21. Maria Mulatto saying defeat is a pill she could not swallow. Game is now tied, but we're moving a little forward, and now it's a game point for Calumet. And able to respond after that diving save, and Redettes trying to pass it along to their hard hitter, Huruska. Net violation. Calumet wins that set. It was a battle to the very end, but Calumet won tonight 3-0 over Marquette. Now we're going to be taking a look at some other volleyball scores from around the UP. Manistee beat a tough SC squad tonight, 3-1. Scores were 25-19 Manistee, 13-25 Eski, then 25-19 and 25-20 Manistee. And Cougars, they were able to come away victorious on Munising senior night, 3-1. Scores were 25-16 Cougars, 15-25 Munising, and then 25-15, 25-23 Cougars. Mustangs and Superior will meet in the first round of the playoffs Monday, and the district title will be a rematch of last year between Mid-Peninsula and Rapid River. Now, the postseason for high school football started tonight with games such as Brindley versus Pelliston, Kearney Nato at Cedarville, and Rudyard at Rapid River. We'll have those scores for you later. But we also got some games tomorrow and Saturday. So let's check out those. We are starting with Friday games, and there's only 4. Negaunee visiting Gladstone for a second time this season. Manistee is taking on Marcelonia at 6 p.m., as well as East Jordan and Gwynn. And Bark River will host St. Ignace for a 7 p.m. kickoff. Next, we're moving to Saturday games, and boy, do we have a lot, so stay with me, folks. Also, Michigan and Michigan State playing their rivalry game at 12, so remember, you can watch that or go support our local teams. Marquette hosts Muskegon Reefs at 2. Escanaba will be almost starting at 11 a.m. The Blue Devils host Saginaw Arthur Hill at 2. Kingsford and Ojima at 2 p.m. Central Time. Hancock at Gladwin for a 1 p.m. kickoff. And Gremlins, they're back in action against Calumet at 1. Moving along, Lawson, Traverse City, St. Francis for a Saturday night game, 6 p.m. Iron Mountain hosts Rogers City at 12 p.m. Central for just their second game of the season. In Norway and West Iron County at 1 p.m. Central Time, Munising visits Indian River Inland Lakes at 3 p.m. Newberry and Onaway at 2. And Pickford, they won their game against Stevenson by a forfeit due to unfortunate circumstances on Stevenson's side. Still, congrats to the Stevenson Eagles on a great season. The last 2 Saturday games are Igadine visits North Central for a 12 p.m. kickoff time, and the Lakes versus the Trojans, 1 p.m. Central Time. Now we're going to take a look at some of the postseason 8-man football from tonight. Rapid River beat Rudyard 30-26, and Cedarville got the dub against Kearney Nato 38-6 to move on in the playoffs. Lastly, Brimley will go home after a tough defeat to Pelliston 58-28. And with that being said, let's get into the keys of the game for some of these playoffs matchups tomorrow and Saturday. First one, Negaunee. They have to control the tempo of the game. Now, when the Miners faced off against Gladstone the first time, they were able to do that in the first half, but when it slipped through their fingers, Braves are able to take advantage. Now, Miners have to control how this game moves. Plus, it's going to be especially hard since they've been off for 2 weeks. Rematches are always fun, but this one's going to be very unexpected. We don't know what to suspect. Next, the Gremlins' preparation for Copper Kings. Now, that may sound like a general statement, but this is what I mean. Coach Stippich and the team have been prepping via video chats. They haven't been able to meet in person due to quarantine. So how do players prep when they aren't with the coaches is the #1 key for them to have a chance in this game. They did so earlier this season. So we really could be in for a wild squad between these two matches. And now, last but not least, Trojans have to contain the Lake's run game. Now, Meansy was able to do so last week. While they still lost to Lake Linden-Hubble, Lake Linden only won by 4 points. So if Forest Park can contain Brandon LaVidge and Caleb Klein, then it's going to be a dogfight to the very end. But now we're on to college hockey. NMU and Michigan Tech both released their hockey schedules for the 2020-21 season, and here are some key matchups. Wildcat will play Tech 3 times this year, but I believe the first 2 and the last 2 against them matter the most because the first 2 are measured up to how they compare to each other this season with personnel, and the last 2 have the most playoff implications like we saw last season. Minnesota State on January 1st and the 2nd is a big game for the Wildcats. They were able to upset the hockey juggernaut in 1 game, and after that, went on a 4-game win streak. So beating a team like that definitely instills confidence. Wildcats lost both games against Bemidji last year, so revenge is definitely on Grant Petone and company's mind. Moving on to the Tech schedule, the key games I chose are fairly similar to their rival. Of course, the first 2 and last 2 matchups with Northern, Minnesota State on January 8th and 9th, but then I said Bowling Green. So reason for that is because it's always a toss-up of who could win, and that game could impact playoff rankings, but it really depends on how Bowling Green does the rest of their season. So if we compare it to how Tech does the last few seasons, then this Bowling Green matchup is going to be very crucial. Can't wait to see how these 2 squads do once they get back on the ice.